Pranam. I'm Srimati Parmeswari Ramkisun. I come from Mauritius, an island in the Indian Ocean. My ancestors come from India, 3 generations back. They just come from India, and they came to work in the fields. We spoke Bhojpuri. There was people. They encourage us with our Indian traditions. They have pathshalas, they build pathshalas everywhere, they do Ramayana. Children go to study Hindi. Lots of people over there speak Hindi. And they are very religious, we are very religious. We do lots of pujas. Then I came to Canada with my children. I have 3 children. Here too, I want my children to be religious, and follow the same steps as us. I encourage them to go to the temple. We go to the temple. They are doing very good here too. We have nice pujas, satsangs and all. I love it. My children also love it, and it's encouraging. I hope my children will follow our ancestors and my steps, because I have lots of faith in God. Hope they will continue with this trend. Thank you.
My name is Sarita and I am from India, and I met George in India. He was on a 1-year study in the Karnal, and that's where we met each other and we got married. And after marriage we moved to Holland, and now we have 2 beautiful children, and George can tell you the rest of the story.
And, I was born and raised in Suriname, and my grandparents came from Uttar Pradesh, and one set of grandparents came from Barbados, and there is no record of their traveling there because there was an internal migration. I went to school in Holland, and I went to part of graduate school was that we had to go and have an overseas or spend a year abroad, and that's what I did. In the 90s we moved to Canada, and I worked in Canada and the US. From there we moved to Vancouver, and to my amazement, my first landlord, he spoke Bhojpuri in a way we speak in Suriname. I was surprised that we were 100 years away from India and we still communicated in the same language. And from there I figured that we still have an emotional connection with the people from Trinidad, Guyana, Mauritius. From there onwards, it came really give me some spiritual enrichment that wherever we go, the glue that binds us Indians is basically the Ramayana and Tulsi. So every time I go to Suriname and when I come back, I make sure that I bring some Tulsi seed to have a Tulsi Viwah performed.
My name is Krishna Sami. I was born in Trinidad and Tobago. My father came from India, age 7, and this was in 1917. They got settled in a sugar estate, Union Hall, South Trinidad. They worked in a sugar plantation. They were uneducated, so they toiled very hard in the sugar industry. However, they were able to have 9 children, 3 girls and 6 boys. I am the 4th. I did my apprenticeship in the oil refinery, Texaco, where I got my qualification in engineering. I came to Canada and as a London immigrant, I had a very tough time trying to get a job in my profession, and I had to go through a lot of hoops to get my qualification recognized. However, I did manage to make it, especially when I think about my parents and what they sacrificed for us. I thought I'll do the best I can here, and that made me succeed. I am happy here in Canada. I still miss Trinidad. And
no, I forget. Yeah, well, when I came here on a holiday and Krishna and I met up and we decided to get married. We have two daughters, Marissa and Lori, and I wanted to find a job before I had the girls, and it was very difficult because they said I had an accent, and my qualifications either were not recognized, and so it took a while. And another thing was the struggle for us to adjust to the clothing and the weather and the hardship of going through all of those things was a struggle for me. But when I had the girls, I was very settled at home, and I decided to make sure I bring them up in my dharma that we learned from our parents in Trinidad. So I seek out people who of the same background, and I found my friends, and we started to form a society, and we promote our dharma, and we do satsang, and we had 5 years of yajna, and we do our prayers regularly, and we have havan. We continue doing our religious background that we learned from our parents, and right now we form the Vancouver Cultural Society, the Vancouver Satsang Cultural Society, and we carry on with our dharma as best as we can and try to teach our kids the same thing. Thank you very much.
Brian Mohabir. I come from Guyana. We've traveled many different places before we decided to settle in Canada. This is my wife Joyce, and we've lived there for many, many years.
This is my home, and I feel very comfortable come in here and sit. This is what I was brought up with all these deities and all the mothers here. Mother Lakshmi, Mother Durga, Mother Saraswati. And this is what I'm showing my children and my grandkids, that this is part of our life, and they should have in their home when they are grown up to see our culture and grow up with this, because this was handed down by our grandparents.
Go on.
I hope that everyone in our society would teach their children to have some form of these deities in their home so that they can follow what we have learned from our grandparents. This has given us a lot of strength because we travel from Guyana to different places, and we choose Richmond, British Columbia as our home, and we are very happy here. We have our strength from these deities, and we are happy, and I hope that this can be transformed to other families who have children growing up in Canada, so that they could see where their foreparents come from and what they teach us and pass on to us generation.
जय राम जी की। मेरा नाम यशोदा शंकर नायर है। मैं पीजी की। मेरा माता और पिता इंडिया से आया, वो केरला के थे। और मुझे नहीं मालूम है कौन साल में वो आया है। और फिर उसके बाद में मेरा विवाह हुआ तो मैं सुबह आ गया। जब वहाँ पे मेरे बच्चे हुआ तो उसको पढ़ाना, पालना पोसना और शिक्षा देना, मेरा जो कुछ शक्ति रहा भगवान की दया से वो मैं किया। फिर उसके बाद में वो कनाडा आ गया। मुझे जनता है प्रीति।
I'm from Suba. I'm born in Suba. My parents come from India. They've been in Fiji for 78 years now. After that, I was a kid. I learned all this stuff to God, Ram, Krishna, all this. Then I built a temple at Nilivatu, Lodalaway. Ram Mandir there, and as I was staying in the Ram Mandir for 7-8 years. From there, came to Canada, and I was always thinking about the Ram. Ram is a God. I always pray him. So I used to do that for a long time. So I really love my God. I had 5 kids, my daughter, and C.K. Nair, Vinod Nair, and Vijendra Nair, and what do you call? Mukesh Nair, Vinandan Nair. All those my son, 5 of them. They're all in the same temple. And they be praying all the time to God. I love the God. That's all I can say. Thank you. I mean, my parents